Yo, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode. Not to another episode, but to a new series called Tiny Bunny. This is a new horror game, I think, that is suggested to me by a lot of people. I heard it's very scary and it's very good, and sorry for the noises of my brother's parrots. I don't have control over it. I hope you will not hear it. And if you hear, sorry about that. Let's go to the setting. What do we have? Music, speed. Okay. Skip. No, read text. Oh, it looks just let's jump in. Okay, English of course. Let's jump in. New game, Tiny Bunny. It's a game about a tiny bunny, of course. Let's go. I heard it's a very special game. A lot of positive reviews on Steam. Just bought it. Wait, I told them to stop. I hope it works. Okay, let's begin. The wind clawed at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song weaved from all sorts of voices. Shrill, gentle, sneery, twinned in the air. They were shouting and laughing and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of the building that had seen a lot in its days and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green ticket gazed back with its yellow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves there was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes, I don't know how to say it, swaying in the wind, couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was just my imagination. I was already 12 after all. Still. Oh, nice wolf. I didn't see there. Episode 1, The Owl Will Arrive.
Убери книгу немедленно.
Hey, put away your book, Mom said. Okay, Mom.
Сколько раз говорила, не читай за столом, вредно. Сидишь, сутулился весь.
How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look how slouched you are. Hide? What is hide? Oh, hide the thingy. I didn't protest and put a book about Conan the Barbarian aside. I was stuck on a line. I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Olya is the girl, I think. Yeah, my sister maybe. Olya had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic. She almost looked like your typical girl from commercials. Yeah, she is beautiful.
Пока не съешь, из-за стола не встанешь.
Mom said, you're not going anywhere until you finish it all. Oh, sorry. You're not going anywhere until you finish it all. You finish it all. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house, and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked like a jellyfish from the Cousteau Odyssey. I love that show, for real. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is. I wonder it too sometimes, you know. I wonder it. I'm with you in this story. Or how cold the black forest is at night. No, that I wasn't wondering. The spoon fell out of my hand. Like I just can't do anything with my life. Even the spoon fell out of my fucking hand. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes. At least she has green eyes. Now we can't see it, can we? Because it's black and white, we can't see it, can we? Why developers? Why you can't see the green eyes?
Что я говорила?
What did I just say?
Я достану.
I'll get it. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. What is this? Carved on the other side of the table? Karina. Ha! That's my mom's name! I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal, damaging the furniture like that. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar though. Should I remind her about it? Nah. She's been in a bit of bad mood lately. I imagine her being my age, sitting under the table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? Or the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? Oh, that's a nice grandma. I imagined my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting in the edge of her bed where Olia sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice.
Тайга особое место, дитятка.
Taiga is a special place, little girl.
Она к тебе присматривается.
It's watching you closely, sniffing you out.
Словно хочет понять, что ты за зверь такой.
Trying to discern what kind of beast you are.
Понравишься, в беде не бросит.
If you're a good sort, he won't abandon you in times of trouble.
А будешь проказничать, схватит за бочок и утащит с собой под землю.
But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground.
Тут и дело с концом.
And that'll be it. Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Those were the times, without maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. I don't know how to say that word. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket, and she called it her cute funeral box. It waited for its time in the closet, patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat, colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive. Only all of her photos were gone. Glass-covered picture with gray faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled from under the table after all that thinking and doing absolutely nothing but thinking about my grandma, that she died, she was weird, damn. I didn't think about it. She was very weird, by the way. Olia was done with her cookies, and was looking at my chair like a sly woodland critter. I turned my gaze toward the frosted window. This is a nice window, that is. There were a lot of dark spines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass. Yeah, I can see that. Very beautiful. Very beautiful.
Оля, гляди, лиса!
Olia, look! It's a fox.
Где?
Olia, where? It looked almost like those optical illusion thingies they put on the back of the student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little bit and look under a certain angle,
Да не на улице, на стекле.
Anton said, not outside, Olia, on the window.
Смотри, вот нос, вот.
Look, here's the nosy thing, and here is
Ну-ка, доедай.
Mom. Hey, heat up, and voila. Hey, heat up, guys.
Да, да, сейчас.
Yeah, just a moment, Mom.
Я ничего не вижу.
I don't see anything, little brother.
Живо. Совсем немного осталось.
Hurry up, there's not much left.
А, вот. Но все равно не похоже.
Oh, there it is. But it still doesn't look like one.
А я говорю, похоже.
And I'm telling you it does, Olia. It does. So stop fucking with me around.
Не-а.
Nuh-uh. It doesn't. Wow.
Похоже.
It does. I tell you it does, okay? It's not it doesn't, it does.
Прекратите. Ну
Stop
что за
it.
дети?
These kids, I swear. No, I couldn't see the fox either. The fuck is wrong with you? It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty patterns, similar to stretched out needle leaves, kept creeping on the glass. My dad entered the kitchen with long, measured steps. I want to have been like him when I grow up. Mom would always ask jokingly, "Come on, shave it off, it stings." This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Sorry, it's hard to read what it is. Olia always covers her ears when she hears something like, "What's the point in all of this?" to the wall. "It's all for your sake," Dad would reply. "For the sake of our family." That's the voice he had. I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with a D. Devo. Divorce. I got it. I don't even want to finish it. It was so scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken into two different families.
Да что твоя лиса?
Оля.
Вот у меня на окне сова.
Olia said. Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl at my window.
Опять ты со своей совой.
You and your owl talk again.
Так ты же вчера мне верил.
You said you believed me just yesterday, Daddy.
Никто ключи от машины не видел?
Anyway, has anybody seen my car keys?
Вроде оставлял на подоконнике.
I remember leaving them on the windowsill, and they weren't there anymore.
Вроде.
Right.
Вроде оставлял, вроде нет.
Maybe you didn't, maybe you're not. Who knows? You such a dummy.
Вроде взрослый мужчина, отец двоих детей, а вроде...
You're a grown man, a father of two, and still.
Перестань, пожалуйста, Карина.
Karina, please stop.
Дай мне спокойно собраться.
Just let me get ready in peace.
В корзине твои ключи, возле телефона.
Your keys are in the basket near the phone.
Огромное тебе человеческое спасибо.
Well, thank you very much.
Антон, ешь быстрее, а то как мученик сидишь.
Anton, Stop making a martial out of yourself and finish eating already.
А сова?
But the owl.
Не было там никакой совы.
There was no fucking owl.
Была!
But it was fucking one.
Глазюки огромные! Во! И светятся!
He had giant glowing eyes. Olia sprang up from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers, the size of an apple each.
В прошлом году бабай в шкафу, сейчас сова.
Last year you had a baba in your closet, and now this owl? What is...
Я же видела!
Wait! Okay, now we don't know what babai is. Oh, babai is Slavic folklore. Okay. But I saw it, Daddy, I swear I saw it! Olia shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me, but couldn't find any support. Poor kid.
А ты не думала подружиться с ней, нет?
Have you thought about befriending it?
Вымышленными мышами покормить, например.
You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice.
Не подначивай ребенка.
Don't bully our girl.
Просто мала еще. И спать одна боится.
She just afraid to sleep alone because she's a little girl. Olia parted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave her Dad's quick look. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just nodded in reply and left, ringing with the keys he just found. A minute had passed and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on incredibly worn out cassette tape, which Dad had already had to glue together once. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example. But how do you fix a relationship? But how do you fix knowing how to talk? But how do you fix a relationship? Mom moved to the living room and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Olia had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to the house. She would... I missed, okay. She would toss and turn or curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped to get her mind off all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. Oh my God, Jesus Christ! And then Olia said she saw the giant flying monster outside her window. Here it is. She is almost crying. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything with their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of this ridiculous fears. Olia refused to sleep alone and didn't really believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After last night, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? That night I couldn't get a wink of sleep, and ended up thinking what to expect from my new school. What did I hear? I hear some. There were a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination grew. Long, twisting hallways led to a classroom full of kids. But all the students behind the desk were simply dark figures, cut out using a template. Circular halls gaped in the middle of their faces, and pair of eyes blinked inside those holes, it was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat black shadows. Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive in here? One they gang up on me and beat me down and rape me. Sorry, that's what I was supposed to say. I just added it. Majestic. Stomp on me with a ball on their shoes. The damn school could burn for all I care. I just wish for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want people to see who were just itching to smack me on the head, to whip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider or some sort of fucking monster. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the walls. I couldn't consider myself by the great artists, but only begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. But promises, don't believe the promises of people. They always lie. Almost always. Not always, almost. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number." Or, "Anthony's not around." Anthony's not around. I imagine my future classmates lying in the bed just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside the windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. The house squeaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9th-floor concrete building, buzzed with a neighbor drill, mumbled with the TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though, I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant on the corners, on the closet cobwebs, and under the stairs. But they all woke up during the night. Something was watching me from every corner. Almost as if the old photos of my deceased family with the ashen eyes were hanging on the walls in a piece of drawings. The floor was squeaking, acid rains were moaning. The attic was occupied by nosy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. And then I realized I was in fact hearing music. It was already playing for a good while, and it's a good music, by the way, very good music. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It was mixed with the sound of wind, of the creaking old house, and my thoughts too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that that music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not like someone is playing in it there amidst the cold snowy night, right? Open the goddamn window! Someone was dancing in the field. Black shadows I could barely make out, with the dark forest as the backdrop. They jumped around, basked in the moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, whirled around and crawled over on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. They stood upright at times, circled around holding hands, and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment, and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild. make me anxious at the same time. Suddenly, the music has stopped. The dancing shadow falls in place. I could swear, pierced me with the eyes. One of the shadows immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and spitted across the field with giant leaps. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until devoured by the pitch black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like a bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back toward the bed. They saw me. A freezing torrent of fear rushed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guests move and scrape me around, looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right, then circled around the house. Now my guests should be at the front door. I jumped into the bed and covered myself with a blanket as if it could protect me. The shockless fear locked my muscle. I remember the funeral. My grandma laying there, hands crossed on her chest. Her facial features sharp like that of tin doll, and swinging up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. I imagined those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. Then her wrinkly elbows would once again move inside her socket, and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. I was chanting the spell she taught me throughout the whole procedure. And now, lying under the blanket and listening to squeaks and holes, I was repeating the same words.
В буяне, в синем океане стоит домовина, и сало, и глина, волосы седые, чертям еда, раба Божьего Антона не тронут никогда.
On the island of Boyan, underneath the blaspheming sun, in the sea of color blue, stands a cabin made of wood.
Бесы забудут дорогу к дому.
Evil leave this house must.
Мертвые к мертвому, живое к живому.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I casually peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like hanged man. And then the night has doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched my eardrums. In reality, something or someone was scratching in my front door, hurriedly clawing at the wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed the sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently, as if he was looking for someone.
Мертвое к мертвому,
Ashes to ashes,
живое к живому.
dust to dust. I on my knees, placing my chin between them, and wheeled at the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the night of darkness. And then the doorknob twitched slightly. Then it turned halfway, once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more and then started clicking violently. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the thin drains. Now you'll see. The door was wide open. I am very scared right now. The darkness written inside the carnivorous mouth of the doorway. Do me. It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling and snared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. Do me. My abdomen tightened and my chest was up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me,
Ты спишь, Тоша?
Tosha, you asleep? My sister's pale face portrayed from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief.
Оля, я не сплю. Что случилось?
Olia, I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Olia frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry.
Оно опять прилетело и пялится на меня.
It's there again. It's staring at me.
Прогони ее, Тоша.
Shoo her away.
Прогони, пожалуйста.
Tosha, shoo her away, please.
Я так боюсь.
I'm so scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Aurelia down.
Это был сон, глупая. Не пугайся. Сны не кусаются. Никто тебя не обидит.
It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. Olia sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself?
У меня есть идея.
I have an idea.
Пойдем к тебе в комнату, видик посмотрим. Спящую красавицу, например.
Let's go to your room and watch the video. Sleeping Beauty, for example.
Тебе же нравится этот мультик?
You like that cartoon, don't you?
Почему у спящей красавицы принца у меня эта страшная птица?
Why does a Sleeping Beauty have a prince, and all I have is a scary bird? The question took me by surprise.
Ладно, давай посмотрим Золушку.
Alright, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled fuzzy. What was that? What startled me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon. The darkness was clinging to the window, and it couldn't be fooled by my grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with the feast of lard and long ashen hair.
Тоша, ты идешь?
Tosha, are you coming?
Да, сейчас.
Yes, just a moment. Oh my god! Nice one. Very nice one. Very nice one. I'll give it to ya. I loved it. I love every part of it. I love every part of it. It was just a dream? That's why I didn't want to laugh at Olia and her all this morning. Who could be visiting us here? In the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled. Just from a silly thought that our morning guest could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. In the closet. Under the table. Behind the curtains where Olia always hides.
Тоша, подойди-ка сюда.
Tosha, come here. I don't want to, Ma. I felt like cattle were tied to my feet, but still dragged them toward the hallway. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. My mom always winced and grumbled at the moment that she saw patrol cars, worse than bandits. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused.
Здравствуйте.
Hello? The senior officer who wore a grim expression nodded.
Тут мальчик вчера потерялся. Вовой зовут.
A body had gone missing yesterday. Her name is Vova.
Глянь, пожалуйста. Ты его не видел?
Look at this, please. Have you seen him? The policeman held out a photograph for me. Little kid with his cat. There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a white smile.
Нет.
No, I haven't, I said.
Точно?
The
Посмотри
policeman
внимательно.
said, "Are you sure? Look closely."
Где мне его видеть? Я тут никого не знаю, да и из дома-то почти не выхожу.
Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house.
А может, видел в окно?
Well, maybe you've seen him from the window?
Да, у тебя ведь окна на лес.
That's why your windows always look straight at the forest, don't they? The window.
Нет, не видел.
No, I haven't seen anything.
Ясно.
I see. He sounded tired, but his eyes. His stare long and heavy and was full of suspicion. I screamed unwittingly under the weight of guilt, which his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over to the hallway, the stairway and the cracks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed before, so for some reason.
Вы, кстати, как на новом месте?
How do you
Попривыкли уже?
like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it?
Понемногу, только вот дочка маленькая по городу скучает.
Bit by bit, you know. It's just our little daughter misses the city lot.
Скучает, значит. Из местных вас никто не беспокоит?
Misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well?
Все хорошо, спасибо.
Yes, everything's alright, thank you. The policeman peers through me one more time with his gray eyes. My head started spinning.
Может, вам помочь как-то?
Can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaky voice, to look like a polite boy, and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner.
Я вот стою и думаю,
Now that I think about it,
ты, малец, на племеша моего похож.
you look just like one of my nephews, little fella.
Шустрый парнишка твоих лет, с такими же окулярами. Все книжками зачитывался, детективами.
He's a weird boy around your age, wear the same types of goggles, ha ha ha. Always engrossed in reading those mystery novels.
Когда летом погостить приезжал, говорит, что в школу милиции мечтает поступить.
Told me he wants to enroll in police school when his family visits this summer.
Как я. Хотел людям помогать. Смекаешь?
He wanted to help other people just like me, see? I felt uncomfortable, as if distant relative, another police officer stood before me.
Ох, ребятушки,
You know what?
сидите-ка вы лучше дома. Не ввязывайтесь ни во что. Жизнь сейчас совсем другая пошла.
Little boys like you should stay at home, stay away from trouble. The times have changed so much. Mom interjected in a cold voice.
Мне ли не знать?
You don't say.
Ну да ладно.
Oh, well then.
Ты, Антон, в каком классе учишься?
What grade are you in, Anton?
В 6.
6.
Друзей-то на новом месте еще не завел?
Have you made any friends here so far?
Пока нет. Я только после каникул в школу пойду.
No, yeah. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break.
Тогда вот вам на всякий случай мой номер. Звоните, если узнаете что.
Oh, then I'll leave you my number just in case, you know, if you see a bear, a big fox jumping at you, just let me know. Call me if you have any new info about this kid or something. The policemen were gone along with the shadows, the smell of cheap cologne, and the photo of a smiling boy. His face still stood before my eyes. I wondered what it was like for him, being all alone there. For some reason, I thought of the forest, swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I'd gone missing? That's a peculiar thing to think about. Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other like they always do and forget about me eventually?
Мам, а Вова этот в нашем лесу заблудился?
Mom, this Vova guy, did he go missing in the forest?
Выходит, что так. Бедный ребенок.
Seems like it, poor child. I looked out the window at the road. The police UAZ drove off toward the village. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off all paint from the windsill. I remember all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I've read this summer. Black Kitty, a series of conversion, originally translated teen mystery books. Okay, got it. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mystery there. They look for clues, spied on suspicious people, and after a set of amazing adventures, bam, solved any complicated case. They became local celebrities. They must have made the parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints. That led to the forest. And then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation of my own? Maybe I'll find a lost boy, and I'll get a reward. Olia would be so happy. And not only Olia, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about the quarrels for a while. Maybe I'll even save her from the D word. I fantasize about buying Olia a Tamagotchi and getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself, and a whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad lost his job at the time. There's that annoying song about it. Akutan, a song by an all-female Soviet pop band by the name of Combination that became very popular in the early 80s. I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. They count money, I think. My neighbors used to envy us. But nowadays, Mom and Dad barely had money to afford sweets. And Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Olia. Poor, they're very poor, okay. Sometimes he gave her my share too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out looking for clues.
Пойду погуляю.
I'm going outside, Ma! What is this? Menu. Okay.
Ага, сейчас.
Yeah, right.
Чтобы потом милиционеры с твоей фотографией по домам ходили.
You want the police to go around with your photograph next? You want the police to go around with your photograph next?
Лес вон какой густой.
The forest is so thick.
А если мальчика звери дикие утащили? Или того хуже?
What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals? Or even worse? Even worse. Echo through the hallway.
Да я рядом буду. В лес не пойду.
I won't go far, I stay away from the forest.
Что я тебе сказала? Мне дважды повторять.
Did you hear what I said? Or shall I repeat myself?
Лучше портфель собери или соли поиграй.
Better go pack your school bag. I'll play with Olia. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. The Quartz has seen so many people come and go in this house. It was black as if it absorbed whole human sin from the long years it was hanging under the ceiling. After Grandma died, Mom was going to take it off and hang a horseshoe in its place. As a lucky charm, you know. But she cut herself with the Quartz, sharp corner, and almost fell from the stepladder. Dad called it a sign from above and ordered the Quartz to be left alone in its rightful place. Let's open this. What is this? The dark, stuffy closet. Mom said it smells like mice. But how would she know the smell? She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I cut myself on the freshly sharpened knife. And only I couldn't even lure it close to it. She thinks, bye, he's living in there. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp, so she would see there was nothing but cobwebs, dead tools, and scratched walls. She still didn't believe me though, and I liked hide in the closet and listen to Olia count outside. 1, 2, 3, better half of me, and then drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster den. Nice. Let's go to kitchen. Open the fridge. Open this. Turn back. Lie to mom. It was difficult to lie to mom, but there was no other way for me to run away from home.
Мам, там что-то с телевизором случилось.
Mom, something is wrong with the TV.
Картинка какая-то
The picture
тусклая,
is
и
dim.
экран весь в полосах.
And there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became very visibly distorted.
Без ножа меня режешь. Дострелялся в уток своих.
Oh, you are killing me. So you had enough of shooting those stupid dogs now?
Говорила же, посадите мне кинескоп своей приставкой.
Told you the kinescope will go dim because of your console.
Где мы теперь мастера найдем в дыре этой, а?
Where will we find a TV technician in this hole? Huh?
Может быть, просто настройки сбились?
Maybe it's just the setting.
Сходи, посмотри,
Please,
пожалуйста.
go see yourself.
Нормально же работал с утра.
Strange, it worked just fine in the morning.
Из-за
Well, it's not
снегопада,
anymore.
наверное, неполадки.
Maybe snowfall caused it. Mom rubbed her hands clean on her apron and went to Olia's room. Freak you, I lied to you, mama. Front yard, going outside like a man. I opened the front gate and went into the field. Carefully, so mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I crossed half of the distance toward the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remembered my nightly fears. I saw silhouettes around here. They were jumping around holding hands. That hypnotizing beauty started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of the day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there, distant ringing in my ears. Distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside me, and a barely audible whispering in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent, so silent it felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olia. The time reached its limit, a one-way trip that ended at the forest piney stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. What is this? Our parents would scream at each other, were arguing, and both me and Olia turned to stone listening to them. But then always came the ringing silence. Our apartment became numb a couple of days before we departed. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughing, or spent time together, almost like all of it was in previous life. What is the sounds? When they kissed with Olia presents, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day it all changed. Something important had left our home, and something scary filled our many void. It was as if a fire broke out, and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who though? From the people with dead cold eyes, who sometimes visited us in our previous home. The eyes that only saw the balls of worms on the black ground in everything. And somehow, and somewhere far away, a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. I shuddered, chasing away my illusions, and looked around. Beautiful boy. And there were only me, this white field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and pelts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with blinding whiteness. Snowy trees slithered under the snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and conifers needles froze into the ice. Wooey, dry, what is this? Frick. Dry, prickly branches intertwined. bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? Some object was hanging from one of the pointy branches. Here is a glove. I tried to get closer, drowning in the snow. And when I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw it near the middle. It looked like a wounded bird among the youngest semi-dark. Should I take it to the police? The senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Broken Lights. He was also always anxious, with tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong though. Would this meet and help him find the lost boy? Vova! I heard a distant shout. Looked like it came from the river. Vova! As if the trees were calling out to someone. Vova! We sounded closer to me. Someone was standing there behind the trees, hiding. Vova! I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still, something was unsettling about the figure. Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally toward the ground. Its blackness. There's no one there, just branches in the woods. It's all my imagination. A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. The shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I looked away just for a moment, but when I turned my gaze back to the same place, it was gone. So it was my imagination after all. Silence resigned from a painfully long time. I don't want any of this. I don't want any of this. Now you're gonna jump scare me like you know you're gonna. Bleh. My muscles were tightly sprung. My heart was beating somewhere in my throat. How is that so possible? But nothing of the sort happened. I looked at the mirror once more. Take! I decided to take the lonely maiden from the bench. Vova! A shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for a reply. It's just the police officer. I stepped toward the vicinity and tried to claim my fine. He didn't budge. I pulled harder, the bunch cracked and the middle tore off, landing in my hand with a squishy sound. All too heavy, wet. I squeezed it without thinking and something dark spilled from it. Forming a tiny swim between the maiden and the snow. Steam rose from the snowpile. What is this music? Oh my freaking god! I froze in place, starting my palm in disgust. Bang! The sound of cracking punches invaded the silence. There is blood. I didn't have to think right before I ran away. Someone was chasing me through the darkness, breaking pine bunches, close in the distance with giant leaps. Snow was slowing me down, crazy thoughts flew in through my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I get running through the ticket, I'll be gone forever. But it was the one more voice. For one of reason, it gave me sweat, spurred me on. You can do it, don't stop. I heard an alien word behind me. It was so loud, my ears were numb. It felt like the sound that came from the pack of angry beasts, rather than a single one. Their nostrils soaking freezing air, they sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing. A hoot, a whiz. The roars were coming from all directions now. From that wide up raspberry bush, from twisted pines, from under the windfall. Hurry, run, don't look back. It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became vicious, like quicksand. I was stuck in place. I pulled my leg from the mushy trap just to be caught in a new one. Even deeper one than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror, realizing that it wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I got all my sweat and rushed forward. The pressure on my leg was gone. My boots slipped out of the hole, and my soles were on a hard surface again. I reached a clear path with one jump, and from there went to my house. Its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. The house was my line of defense. The shadows flapped with their wind, and the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed into the door. In all my area, I still managed to notice the claw marks, as if dog was striking the wood with its paws, demanded to be let in so it could escape its sweet cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was living. The heartbeat in my ears was so much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in our front yard and Mom had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled the doorknob and it obediently gave way. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch plank creaked as my pursuers ascended to the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock, and I couldn't click it into place. I have to drink. I'm done for. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and casitated with me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad.
Что конкретно тебе не ясно в просьбе не хлопай дверьми?
What exactly didn't you understand when I told you never to slam the door?
Я случайно.
I didn't mean to. I snuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone and the breath was too. If there was someone in the first place, of course. Here, mere 5 meters away from Mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring. And with this last bit of strength, I had left my body too. My legs gave way. I propped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression has changed immediately. The cold mouth of weakness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same way as before all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition, my wet pants plastered with snow.
Ты где был? Я тебе что говорила, а? Чтобы ты дома сидел.
Where have you been? What did I tell you, huh? I told you stay at home.
Я и для тебя пустое место.
It ain't nothing to you. I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her, like when I was very little, and wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel, her voice rang
У
out.
отца сигареты пропали.
You that can't find these cigarettes.
Признавайся, ты их стащил? Курить бегаешь?
Be honest. Did you snatch them? Were you smoking a cigarette?
Там за мной кто-то гнался. Я думал, меня...
There was something chasing me. I thought. I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my ears. Mom leaned toward me and sniffed my clothes like a beast, searching for a smell of tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant, and she covered her mouth with her
Гляди,
hand.
вон же они. Прямо у забора.
Looked over there at the fence. My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again, and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear that I heard something scratch the door, just like my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with her finger, and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window facing my fear. I could barely discern some hairy shallots swimming in the snow through the icy winter patterns in the glass. Dogs. Just a small pack of strays, with no name and owner, barely reminding of the hungry monster that live on the edge of the forest.
Божечки, ты их испугался? Да они сами тебя перепугаются, Антон.
Oh boy, we're scared of them. I think they were out to be scared of you,
Они
Anton.
гнались за мной, словно за
They
зайцем.
were chasing me like a bunny.
А вдруг они бешеные?
And what if they were rabid? The smile slowly disappeared from Mom's face. Now she looked at me at the dogs as if it were Now she looked at the dogs as if it was her first time seeing them.
Что если они нападут на Олю?
What if they attack Olia?
Мам,
Mom,
Вот бы твой отец их всех перестрелял.
I wish your dad could just shoot all of them.
мама, они живые.
Mom, look, they're alive.
А что?
Oh, what?
Ты уж определись? Они тебе друзья или враги?
Are they a friend or foe after all? Make up your mind.
Не маленький ведь уже.
You're not a little kid anymore. Sorry about the voices. Well, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my parents among the pack of stupid sways. And what for? What use do I have for this? Mitten. Of course! A dark and sticky mitten that belonged to the lost boy made a squishy sound in my hand. Seems like I was clutching it the whole time. That's my trump card as a detective. I heard to present my clue to my mom.
Мам, смотри, это Вовина варежка.
Mom, look, this is Vova Mitten.
Ну того, про которого утром милиция
The boy the
спрашивала.
police was asking about in the morning.
Она вся в крови, на дереве висела.
It's stretching
Вон
blood.
там,
I
могу
found
показать.
it hanging on a tree. I can show it. Where?
Давай в милицию скорее позвоним, как нас участковый просил.
Let's call the police right away, like the officer
Mom,
told us.
гляди!
Mom, look!
Фу!
Ooh! The shadow of doubt slowly crept onto Mom's contorted face, as if she was trying to remember something distant, like someone tries to remember their dream, but the images slip away.
А ну-ка прекрати сейчас.
Stop it at this moment.
Оля тебя услышит, с ума сойдет.
Olia, we're going. Olia, you're gonna say if you hear you.
Она и так не спит. На все подряд жалуется.
She already had trouble sleeping and whines all the
Еще и
time.
ты со своими шуточками.
And you junk around like this? At that moment, I realized the maiden was actually wet from snow. Oh my god! There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink to the floor for my embarrassment.
Иди сюда, паникер.
Come here, my boy, you cried wolf.
Да не стой столбом. Вот, таблетку на. Быстро
Don't,
пей.
don't just stand there, come take your pills. A golden colored pill, reminiscent of a dead wasp, fell into my palm.
Я уже пил сегодня, за завтраком.
I already took one during breakfast.
Попререкайся мне еще.
Don't talk over me.
Сказала дома сидеть. Нет же.
I told you to stay at home and you.
Был бы отец, выпорол.
That would have given you good whipping for that one.
Сейчас же выпей, а то ночью не уснешь. Тебе ведь в школу завтра.
Come, take it, or you wouldn't be able to sleep at night, and you have school tomorrow. So I swallowed the bitter medication, drinking it down with similarly awful water that gave off a taste of chlorine. Maybe it wasn't Vofa's mitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten at all. Just like the forest monsters. And Olia's all. Am I going mad? What is happening to me? Yet the pill had an immediate effect. Oh, my overexerted brain didn't let fear inside anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing yawning indifference along with it.
Антон, выпил? Можешь, если захочешь.
Anton, you done? See, you can do it when you try.
Раздевайся. Уснул, что ли?
Take off your coat. Are you asleep?
Нет, мам, просто задумался.
No, Mom, I was just thinking.
Интересно, о чем же?
What about, I wonder?
Так, глупости всякие.
Just something silly, Mom. Mom scrutinized me with suspicious eyes, as if she wasn't sure what she was looking for at her own son, and not some doppelganger that came from the forest.
Точно все нормально?
Is everything alright, son?
У тебя такое лицо было, когда милиционер про окно спросил.
You had the exact same expression when the policeman asked you about the window.
Все нормально, мам.
It's alright, Ma.
Хорошо.
Fine. It seemed like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric had become discolored, Fingerprint. Everything is colored him. Let's bring it up. Everything is without color here. It's amazing art, but without color. Okay, I get it's part of the experience. It's colorless. It's black and white. I get it. But let's be honest here. Okay, fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulb has also felt different, dimmer and yellower. Even the saliva inside my mouth had a different taste. A melody from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Ollie was rewatching a favorite Little Mermaid episodes and switched to the other tapes. I slowly changed into my home clothes and stopped before the sink and studied my reflection in the mirror, like I was trying to solve one of those spotted difference puzzles. Then I went upstairs. Jafari Lago's voice died down. I walked past Olia's bedroom and slipped into my own. Open. One of the walls were empty. I hid amid them there. Achievement unlocked. Where are you, Vova? The simple action drained the last bit of fun for me. I sat on the bed. And only then I noticed there was someone behind the curtains. My tired hand dropped to the sheets. Whether it was due to medication I took or the stress I underwent, the room began to contort as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. The corner of the room bent and undulated. The only stable thing in the whole room was the figure between the windowsill and the curtains. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck to my hidden fister. It reminded me of burial sheets.
Оля,
Olia? Who else would be standing there? I stood up and licked my white upper lips.
Оля, очень смешно.
Yeah, Olia, it's funny, okay? It's so funny. She was unmoving. It was enveloped softly by the curtains, as if it was a thick layer of darkness there, not a human being. I reached toward the curtains. Ba-dum, ba-dum, beat my heart, controlled by medication. The wind sang in the field with a chorus of voices. For a second I wanted to return to the bed, just lie down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing full well they were looking back at me. They were looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic wings rustled against the holder when I pulled open the curtains. Where are you?
Попался!
Okay, gotcha.
Да я сразу понял, что
I
это
knew it
ты.
was you from the beginning. A blindingly bright halo lit up above Solia's head, with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, but Dad, she's not home flashlight. But I brought her to the window one day, and sunlight poured on a smiling face. I felt like I was holding a life, woven child.
А я все
I
видела.
saw everything.
Да ну,
Oh, really?
Что ты спрятал?
Where did you hide? She was just like my mom when she was little. Before she would put on a sad mask of tiredness and switch to her commanding tone of voice.
ничего, просто...
It's nothing, just... Olia went up to the table, her eyes round and asked,
Ты что-то украл и теперь прячешь?
Did you stole something and hid it there?
Ты вор?
Are you a thief?
Что?
What?
Глупая.
Don't be stupid.
Ничего я не
I
крал.
didn't steal anything. Clear image came to mind, the maiden hanging from a tree branch. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest, from the tilted figure, standing behind the black trees. Olia could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted.
Покажи тогда.
Then show me.
Поклянись, что никому не
Swear.
скажешь. Тогда покажу.
You won't tell anyone, then I'll show you. Olia exploded and smiled.
Клянусь маминым
I
сердцем.
swear, Mom's heart. And all she heard in all the movies about pioneers we
Не
watched.
говори так.
Don't say things like that. Olia nodded and made a gesture with her hand, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. Yeah, like this. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. I opened the door and Olia leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a mitten, but some kind of exotic critter.
Это чья-то
Is that
варежка?
someone's mitten? She said. She said it as if she couldn't understand what she saw.
Один мальчик потерял.
A certain boy
И сам
lost it
потерялся.
and got lost himself.
Теперь понимаешь, как опасно гулять в лесу, особенно детям.
Now you do understand how dangerous it is for kids to wander in the forest, right?
Ему, наверное, там очень холодно.
He must be really cold out there.
Его найдут?
Will they find him?
Обязательно.
They will.
Участковый по
The
домам
police are
ходит,
going
всем
house
фотографии
to
его
house
показывают.
showing the photos to everybody. All they travel to the woman with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window.
А почему он по домам ходит, а не по лесу?
And why are they going to the houses and not the forest? This is a great question.
Боится?
Are they scared? The question caught me off guard. Actually, me too.
Милиционеры ничего не
The
боятся.
police sound scared already.
И лес они прочесали.
They've already scouted forest. Yeah, right. Flashed in my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where darkness called and whispers quiet beaches? Well, if that's the case, how did they miss the mitten? Or did they appear later for me? I changed the topic, as if trying to get Olia as far away as possible from the forest ticket.
Если я сам найду пропавшего мальчика, нам, может, награду дадут.
We may get a reward if I go find this boy
Кучу
myself.
всякого, как в
A lot
поле
of stuff,
чудес.
like in the Wheel of Fortune.
Клево же.
Sounds cool, right? Olia wasn't listening to me. She was pacing in the forest with incredibly adult eyes. Uncharacteristic for her.
А что, если это сова его
What if the
утащила?
owl got him?
Ерунда.
Nonsense!
Не может сова
That owl
поднять
wouldn't be
человека.
able to lift a human being.
Ну вот что.
But you know what? I was speaking my words with utmost care. I forced them out of my over-exaggerated brain.
Ты в лес не суйся.
Stay away
Мне
from the
кажется, он
point. I
какой-то,
think-
как бы сказать, проклятый, что
How should I
ли.
put it? It's cursed or something like that.
Как в сказке?
Just like in a fairy tale?
Нет, скорее, как на той страшной кассете, что родители прячут.
No, more like in that spooky tape our parents hid from us. Ollie shivered and stole a glance into the window.
Я видела, как ты
I
убегал.
saw you running away.
За тобой кто-то
Someone
гнался?
was chasing you? How did you see that?
Нет, просто, чтобы мама не волновалась, спешил домой.
No, it's just I was hurrying back home so mom wouldn't be worried. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile. It was always to stifle her light. A gust of wind, and a small fire would be gone.
Хорошо тебе.
You're lucky.
Меня вот мама не
Mom
пускает даже на крыльцо.
won't even let me go outside.
Как принцесса в башне сижу. Никуда не могу выйти.
I'm like a princess in a tower. Can't go anywhere until Mario rescues me.
Так и умру тут от
I'll die
скуки.
from boredom here.
Не придумывай.
You're wrong.
От скуки еще
No
никто
one
не
has ever
умирал.
died of boredom.
У тебя же есть я и мультики, а мама с папой скоро помирятся.
And you've me, and your cartoons, and mom and dad. Will be go to each other.
Знаешь, что бы я загадала на следующий день рождения?
You know what I would wish for my next birthday?
Чтобы родители тоже в детей превратились. И
А-
мы бы все вместе играли, как
А вы-
раньше.
I wish for mom and dad to turn into children, so we could go play together like we used to.
Ага. А если бы они стали размером с жука, то мы бы их в спичечный коробок посадили.
Yeah, and you make them as small as bugs. We could put them in a little box. Ollie giggled and tugged in my sleeve.
Тоша, пойдем Аладдина смотреть.
Tosha, let's go and watch Aladdin. Fatigue won over my desire to be with my little sister. I was washed by some kind of heinous apathy.
Вымотался я. Что-то не
I'm too
хочется.
tired. I don't want to.
Ну пойдем.
Come on.
Мне скучно
So
одной,
boring
а мама
alone. And
занята
mom is
все
always
время.
busy.
Можно выбрать другой мультик, который ты еще не видел.
We can pick a cartoon you haven't seen before.
Да я все наши кассеты наизусть
I
знаю.
know all the tapes by heart at this point.
А вот и не все. Ты Питера Пэна не видел.
Not all of them. You haven't watched Peter Pan.
Помнишь, ты уснул на середине?
Sorry for the. Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it?
А там потом такое. Ну пойдем. Пойдем.
And so much happens after that. Let's go. Let's go.
Давай попозже.
Maybe a bit later.
Рассказать тебе, чем все
Should I
закончилось?
tell you how we dance? You shouldn't tell.
Утром расскажешь.
Let's leave that for tomorrow.
Утром не
I
захочу.
won't tell you tomorrow.
Придумала. А давай в прятки.
I know. Let's play hide and seek.
Нет.
Oh, you shouldn't play this game. Bad thing happened for this game. No, Alia.
Тогда Нарисуй мне динозавра.
Then don't be Dino.
Оля, блин.
Olia, please. Oh, she is just the worst.
Нарисуй, нарисуй.
Throw it.
Да оставь ты меня в
Leave me
покое!
alone already. Blotted it out without thinking. And then I was immediately taken back. I'd never screamed or just like that. Olia stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling. I broke from 2 tears. My chest was searing with disgust and embarrassment. What is happening to me? I hurried to prevent Olia from crying.
Ладно, уболтала. Давай смотреть мультики.
Alright, you win.
Только
Let's go
недолго.
watch Canton for a bit.
Уже не хочу.
I don't wanna. I came up to her, put my hand on the soft hand.
Пойдем.
Let's go.
Питера Пэна
Let's go
посмотрим.
watch Peter Pan.
Ага, ты опять уснешь.
Woohoo, you fell asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless.
Не усну, обещаю.
I promise I won't.
А потом я тебе целого трицератопса нарисую.
And I'd draw you a full Triceratops later. Or something like that dinosaur. Hooray!
Ну, почти.
Well, close enough. Alia wiped her eyes with the sleeve of her pajamas and a shining smile returned to her face.
Давай ты пока кассету перемотаешь, а я у мамы попрошу сгущенки с хлебом.
I'll go ask mom for some milk and bread and you will run the tape.
Только утром свежий привезли, как ты
The bread is
любишь.
fresh, just how you like it.
Неси, только аккуратнее, а то разольешь.
Alright, just be careful not to spill the milk, cause you know, if you spill it, you'll cry and you don't cry over it.
Опять ругаться будут.
Oh, you'll be yelled at again.
Спорим, не разолью.
Wanna bet I won't spill it?
Кассета где-то в тумбочке. Поищи пока.
There can be somewhere in the night and I'll look for it. Ola disappeared in the doorway and I got my feet into the neighboring room. Okay, you know what? Can I save? Okay, guys, this is it for this episode of Tiny Bunny. Wow. This is a great game. I genuinely looking forward to playing it more and more. I would like to finish it. Wow, great game. If you like this game, please, you can go and buy it. I'll put a link in the description for this game. And if you like me playing it, even though I can't read very well, you can like, subscribe, and comment. Yeah, it will help the channel very much, and I will see you in the next episode of Tiny Bunny. I guess it was great. Bye bye.